What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great week. We are here for a fun little video talking about some Hogwarts Legacy 2. Now, Hogwarts Legacy 2 is currently in development, although we do not have much information in regards to it, like story, characters, and stuff like that. We do know it is in development, and this video is primarily just I wanted to do something fun, um, where we just hang out and talk a little bit about some video games to go alongside video game playthroughs that we're doing, the live streams that we're doing. So, Hogwarts Legacy, the first one came out about 3 years, a little bit over 3 years ago, and it was a game that sold a ton of copies. Now, if you remember, because of people not liking J.K. Rowling and all that stuff, a lot of people were trying to boycott slash bully people into not buying the game. It had the opposite effect. I don't remember how many copies were sold. Let's see. So over 40, yeah. So worldwide, over 40 million units of Hogwarts Legacy had been sold, and then within the first 3 months of the game's release, about 15 million units were sold. So it was a very popular game. It was during this time where people were starting to get tired of people trying to police what people play, what people watch, who they follow, that kind of stuff. If you want to just say the woke side of things, but I played it like, oh, I don't know, maybe like 2 years ago is when I played it. Um, when I first started to like get more into live streaming on YouTube, I enjoyed the game. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about the game that could have been better. Obviously, there are a lot of things that people wanted, so we're going to check out a few things to go alongside that. I remember a while back, I saved this on YouTube, not YouTube, but on TikTok. This was back in this is actually, I think, last year, 2025. All right, so there's a YouTube video we're gonna check out too. Maybe one or two, depending on how they go, and I may just add like my caveat into it. So for the first thing, this was a person on TikTok, and they wrote, or they did a thing where what we want for Hogwarts Legacy 2. So the first thing, let me see if I can. So let us start in first year and live through all 7 years of study. Now I don't know how that's I don't know how that's gonna be possible. Um, it, the only way you could do something like that, if it was a live service game, I could potentially see something like that happening. But in a single standalone video game, I don't know if that would be like something possible to start in as a first year and work your way all the way through, um, to your final year. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be possible to do. That would be interesting for sure, but I don't know how possible that would be. Um, Next one they had was take our owls and newts like real students. Yeah, so one of the things about the game is like, yeah, you're a student at Hogwarts, but it doesn't really feel like it. The classes that you do take are just classes that are programmed into the game for you to do to advance the story or advance your skills or something like that. Um, would be interesting to do something like that. Like maybe if you want to be an aura, um, you build your plan is to take the owls. You want to be an aura, like you build your character to be like an aura or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you could do with that. That would be an interesting thing. So take our owls and newts like real students. I thought this was. Let me see if I can clear. I don't think I can clear the screen. But anyway, um, have a wizard and skill tree and career tree. I thought this would actually be pretty good, and it was something I just talked about. So like, select the progression. You want to be an aura, investigate dark wizards, and unlock stunning expertise, dark detector, arrest warrant, Diagon Alley shopkeeper, merchant builder haggling, unlocks inventory expansion, crafting contracts, mesozoologist, ancient ruins and trap resistance, curse breaker, ancient ruins and trap resistance, uh, Professor Charm. So there's just a lot of these, like, basically a just how you see in some of these MMO games where you accumulate skill points and you can use those skill points to advance your character, um, and then things like that. That would be pretty cool. I would definitely say that'd be a pretty cool little neat thing. Um, and then more spells. So in the game, let's see. Um, so in Hogwarts Legacy, you have 30 spells. Now, I would definitely say some of the spells are kind of repeat a little bit. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find an example. So, for instance, you have. Where you at? So Leviosa allows you to float enemies, okay? But then you have where'd it go? And then there's Wingardium Leviosa, allows you to levitate and move items. It fit. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, they're not the same, but they feel the same. Um, then you have some of like the spells used for your room requirements. I don't remember what spells I used a lot. I didn't use a whole lot of spells. I pretty much used the same ones, I think. But more spells. But yeah, so Patronus would be pretty interesting if you encounter like Dementors or something like that. Uh, Divination lesson, reading Coffee Ground. More new classes in divination could be something interesting. And I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last one. And then online co-op mode. And what do you? Okay, so this is the online co-op mode would be actually interesting because if you think about it, you would have the school would feel a lot more alive because you have all these actual people playing the game who are running around Hogwarts doing quests and doing stuff like that. That would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie, that would be interesting. I don't know if that would be more of again like a live service type of game. And I remember a while back that Warner Brothers tried to flirt with that idea. It wasn't long after they launched Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League that they were potentially talking about making Hogwarts Legacy 2 an online service game. I think I think it could work to an extent. There still has to be. I don't think it needs to go full live service. I don't think it needs to do that. But I think there's some elements that you can probably incorporate to the game that would be fine with live service. Like like if you're not doing the story or something like that, you can run around Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and there's like other people in it. Like you can team up with them, go on quests and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, that would be pretty interesting to see as well. So that's that. And then we have a little YouTube video. This is from 2 years ago, about 13 minutes, but we also may check out a few more, depending on how this goes. So here's what we need a Hogwarts Legacy. This is by um, Retro Rackento. I cannot pronounce his name. I do apologize, buddy. So let's check out what he has to say.
Let me take you back in time to October of 2020. You see, that is when I first started making videos. about a little game called Hogwarts Legacy. And in only the second video I posted about it, I went through a list of 10 features that we needed to see in the final game. We didn't know it in October of 2020, but after a series of delays, we wouldn't see the game for roughly 2.5 years from when I made that video. Looking back at the list now, I'd say Avalanche did pretty well. They absolutely nailed Hogwarts Castle, made a combat system that was ridiculously fun, and let us interact with the wizarding world like never before. Oh, and it also helps that
I did like the combat system. I thought it was actually pretty good. Um, I didn't use the killing curses that much compared to probably like a lot of people. Um, but I mean, still overall, I really enjoyed the little combat system they did, especially with the first time doing something like that.
the
Maybe
game
not the
has
first time doing something like that. It's probably been games that done it before.
already made over $1 billion, and that's even before releasing on the Nintendo Switch. So a sequel is all but inevitable, and because of the excellent foundation they've already built with Hogwarts Legacy, hopefully we won't be waiting as long for Hogwarts Legacy 2.
Well, it's been
By
3
taking that
years.
foundation and iterating on it in a few key ways, they can create a game that is true to the original, true to the world they've built, but also one that ultimately ends up being a vastly superior game when compared to the first. For me, it all starts with having a feature that was one of the weakest areas of Hogwarts Legacy: the lack of a true morality system. We need to see this in
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. I wonder if he's going to talk about this too, because I know another thing is not. There's no you falling in love with a character type of thing, but there is something like that with one of the students for the most part. But yeah, morality system that would.
Hogwarts Legacy 2. After all,
it is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
while we did have a handful of choices throughout the game, few of them seemed to have any major impact on the story. In fact, even the final choice ends up being a slight cutscene change and doesn't seem to matter much to the world around you after you make that choice. I can only really think of one choice that felt like it had a true meaning, a true consequence. All of the focus on whether or not you want to learn the unforgivable curses barely mattered at all. No one in the world seems to care about a fifth-year student roaming free and casting the unforgivable curses on anything and everything in their path. And on the other side of that, even if you chose a path of light, there were no rewards, no benefits for doing so, not in the gameplay, nor in the story. Now I think back to 2003, and there was a game then that absolutely nailed this. It's a little gem called Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. The morality system there tracks your choices throughout the game, which include everyday conversations and then critical plot decisions as well. This all determines whether you lean towards the path of light or the path of darkness. It's a simple scale from 0 to 100, with all players starting the game at 50. Morally good choices push your number up and closer to the light, where bad choices give you negative points. And there's even room for the morally gray players who want to follow their own code and ignore the traditional beliefs of the Jedi and Sith. As you move further in one of those directions, though, the appearance of your character will actually change. Certain abilities are also enhanced based on the path you choose, and you actually feel like you're having an impact on the world around you and the characters inside it. Most importantly, it's having an impact on you as a character. A true morality system with meaningful choices would add layers of complexity to a Hogwarts Legacy sequel, a layer of complexity that the original was sorely lacking. We would actually need to be mindful of our choices and act.
I think about in most games too. Sorry, in most games too, it's just kind of like. I guess another good example would be like some of the horror games, like Until Dawn, the Dark Picture Anthology, The Quarry, games like those that your choices affect the rest of the game and how things happen and unfold later on in the story. I think having a system like that in Hogwarts Legacy 2 would be relatively good. What kind of student, or really what kind of person, do you want to be as a Witcher wizard?
Knowing that those decisions could lead to lasting consequences. They could change the course of the story and even influence the fate of our fellow witches and wizards. Now you may ask, what's the point of having all these narrative choices and key story decisions if our character doesn't actually have a reason for doing so? In Hogwarts Legacy 2, I would like to see a stronger storyline where our character has some sort of past. And again here, I look to Knights of the Old Republic as a shining example of how you give a character a strong story, but also give the
in Hogwarts Legacy 2, when you have your character, you just jump in. You're jumping in as I believe a fifth year. There's no backstory to you whatsoever. You're just Professor Fig, I guess, finds you, and like he realizes you have like really untapped potential when it comes to magic, and you go to Hogwarts. There's no really like backstory about your character, like who you are, where you come from, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think hmm. Yeah. If I would say it's probably what wouldn't work, but I would say I would very much like you being able to choose your character's backstory. If that makes sense. Like no. Let me see what he has to say.
Player the freedom to shape and mold the character based on their preferred choices and style of play. I know it's an old game, but I still, all these years later, do not want to spoil it if you haven't played it yet.
It's
I want
such
to
a
be
good
very
game.
careful how much
I
I
haven't
say
played
here.
Knights
I'll
of
put
the
it
Old
like
Republic
this. Your
2.
character starts the
The first
game as
one, I
somewhat
loved
of a blank slate, and you're given the ability to make choices and guide their path. But as the story progresses, you're going to learn more about their past, which leads to one of the best conclusions in all of video games. Hogwarts Legacy wanted to let players be the witch or wizard they wanted to be, which is ultimately why I believe they went with
I know. I apologize, but yeah, it's the amount of character creation to an extent that you can do with your character is really really good. Like all the different hairstyles, all the different facial features, all of that is really really good.
your total blank slate when it comes to our character's past. We don't even know why they have this ancient magic ability or how they got it. We don't even know if we have parents. But I do think there's room for more background overall that would allow the developers to craft a more engaging and immersive narrative. A more defined backstory would enable the player to witness the protagonist's evolution, an evolution that would be based on our choices and decisions in the game. While the Harry Potter series may be named for the boy who lived, the iconic cast of characters around him also played a key role in his journey, and I think it should be that way in the sequel to Hogwarts Legacy as well. And one of the best ways to do this would be to have a true companion system where we can choose between different characters to accompany us on side quests and join up with specific characters related to the story for various main missions. Games like Skyrim, Mass Effect, and yes, Knights of the Old Republic have done an excellent job with this. It would actually appear this is something the original Hogwarts Legacy wanted to implement, at least at one time. After all, there are quests and missions where we team up with Poppy, Natsai, Sebastian, and yes, even Amit Takar. But the game stopped short of a true companion system where these characters join you on other missions. In fact, through a few PC companion mods, fans have found lines of dialogue that strongly suggest a fully fleshed out companion system was there, at least at some point in Hogwarts Legacy's development. Now, I don't believe it should be required for players to have a companion on every single quest. After all, there are some of us who enjoy tackling missions as a lone wolf, but there's no denying that a companion system would help to build the immersion of the world and make them start to feel like our own versions of Ron, Hermione, and Neville. And if they combine this with the choice and morality features we discussed before, these companions could grow alongside our main character and possibly even gain new abilities or open up unique.
I think Poppy was the one I was thinking of, the one where it comes off like a potential like she has a thing for you. So
storylines. Another key component to help build those relationships is giving players more time to actually live life as a student. That is, if they keep as a student in the sequel. Look, as much as I loved getting to freely roam the Scottish Highlands at any time, and I hope that free roaming is still very much an aspect in the sequel, I definitely think we need more time of the student life. I've recently been playing a lot of Harry Potter Magic Awakened, which has turned out to be a much better game than I ever expected. And that's coming from someone who doesn't really play mobile games, and to this point, I've spent absolutely nothing to play it. It's different from Hogwarts Legacy in so many ways. Truth be told, I think some sort of mashup between Legacy and Magic Awakened could actually give us the perfect Wizarding World game. One of the things Magic Awakened does so well is that it really helps you to feel like a student. Classes are a key part of the experience and always available for the player. You can choose to take them with some of the NPC classmates from the game, or you can actually invite your real-world friends. Rather than having the classes at a set time of day, they're open to the player at any time, but they actually do rotate which classes are available from day to day. Legacy had some good ideas for the classes, but most of them ended up being a one-time experience, and even some of the enjoyable extracurricular activities, such as Summoner's Court, they weren't even repeatable after completing the mission that corresponded with them. The Cross Wands Dueling Club just completely gone after you complete that. Magic Awakened also has some live events that players can experience in real time with fellow students, such as a fireworks celebration flying around Hogwarts Castle. You know, playing with others from our community here has been one of the most enjoyable parts of that new mobile title.
I wonder if Blabs has played this.
And I would love to see Hogwarts Legacy 2 add some sort of cooperative multiplayer mode, that can be experienced with other players from around the world. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe the core focus of Hogwarts Legacy sequels should remain on delivering a high-quality, single-player action RPG, but there's definitely something to be said for a mode that allows some of the most passionate, longtime fans of this series to group up and actually participate in activities together. For me, my memories of this series will always be about community. Some of the first podcasts that I ever listened to were Harry Potter podcasts. Probably the only time in my life that I will ever have the experience of going to a midnight book launch happened because of Harry Potter. And so much of this was about...
I'm trying to remember. I think so. I'm pretty sure the first Harry Potter movie I watched was The Sorcerer's Stone. Like I've never read the Harry Potter books, but I think from a movie standpoint, I think the first one I saw was the Sorcerer's Stone, and that was like me in elementary school watching it on VHS. The first time I actually saw it in theaters, I believe this was a midnight release of The Goblet of Fire. And I could have did it because ABC Family back on, well, they kind of still somewhat do it. It depends on the channel, but they would do like these Harry Potter marathons where they show all 7 Harry Potter movies. So I did eventually get around to watching them all. But the first 2 I remember watching as a kid was Sorcerer's Stone and The Goblet of Fire. But yeah.
Experiencing it with other people, the community. Now, I think Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4 gives a fantastic blueprint for how developers can create a top-notch single-player experience, but then surprise everyone with a standalone multiplayer mode for those who want to team up with friends. It also helps to extend the lifespan of the game and keep the conversation around Hogwarts Legacy going. And WB leadership has already spoken about how they see Hogwarts Legacy as a new franchise. So it's safe to say this is a series they're looking to keep going for years to come. There was even a rumor of a Hogwarts Legacy TV show at one point. If they're going to grow this franchise to even bigger heights,
this was
they
2
need to
years
venture
ago,
beyond the walls of just Hogwarts.
That Hogwarts TV series turned out to probably be the live action Harry Potter remake series for HBO Max.
And even beyond the boundaries of the Scottish Highlands. That's right, Hogwarts Legacy 2 needs to add more iconic Wizarding World locations for the player to explore. So early in the first game, we made our way through Gringotts, which I thought was a fantastic start to the game. It really helped to set this stage for an epic journey across the Wizarding World. Unfortunately, outside of the Scottish Highlands area, we don't really do a lot of traveling in the main game. There are a few memory sequences here and there. Oh, and if you played as a Hufflepuff, you do get to see Azkaban, but it's very brief. A sequel needs to...
And I thought that was actually cool. Like, each house gets to do different things that's like only available to those specific houses. Like he just mentioned, where if you choose Hufflepuff, you actually get to go to Azkaban. I thought that was pretty cool. I also love with the houses, each one is so very much unique because you obviously with the Gryffindor, you have the painting. Ravenclaw, you have like 2 different ways. I know you can go through a ceiling or like a moonlight door. Slytherin, I loved theirs because it was like underwater underneath the Black Lake. So again, like they were very creative when they were making this game with a lot of added stuff into it that I really, really loved. And I think a lot of people loved it too. I'm not sure which is y'all's favorite house. Because the first time I played it, I just did Gryffindor. Like I thought about going back and replaying it and choosing different houses that just for the fun of it.
To see entire storylines and missions that take place in some of the most famous locations from the Wizarding World, such as Azkaban, the Ministry of Magic, Diagon Alley, and possibly even other Wizarding World schools from around the world. As much as we all love Hogwarts itself and know that it needs to be central to the experience, some of the most epic scenes from the book actually take place in some of those other iconic locations. Traveling to more of these locations would really help to set the stage for an even bigger story, as that ancient magic that we learn about in the first game, maybe it actually starts having ripple effects throughout the rest of the world. Now, if we're going to be venturing into more locations, such as Azkaban, then we'll need to add more spells to our arsenal. Combat was ridiculously fun in the first game, and it would be awesome to see them build on that core mechanic by adding more spells, such as Aguamenti, and Carcerus, and Obliviate. The one that would be at the top of my list, though, you guys already know. It's without a doubt the Patronus charm. We need to see our Patronus in Hogwarts Legacy 2. Avalanche made an incredibly smart move with the first game by allowing players to link up their Wizarding World account to the game. which in turn gave us the option to bring over our house and wand from the website.
Oh,
Imagine if they
okay.
took this a step further in the sequel by bringing over our Patronus charm. This would be more difficult to pull off as there are numerous Patronus options. Fortunately, they all serve the same purpose, but would need slightly different animations to represent the animal.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, Hogwarts Legacy should already have many of these animations thanks to the vast number of creatures already included in the original. You've got Graphorns, Mooncalves, Nifflers, Neasels, and even dragons. Oh, and speaking of dragons, can we please ride them in the sequel? I'll be honest, I really thought they were setting up for an epic conclusion that had dragon mounts as maybe an in-game unlock. Alas, it was not meant to be. While we could ride brooms, thestrals, hippogriffs, and grabhorns, and even though dragons make quite a few appearances in the game, we never unlocked them as a mount. At first, it may not seem like it fits within the world, but even Harry and the trio rode on a dragon in the final book of the series. And while we're on the topic of rideable mounts, what about being able to cast spells while we're riding in the next game? For number 9 on our list, we have to talk about the need for better loot in Hogwarts Legacy 2. The first game had so many caves and hamlets to explore. A lot of these caves really had fun puzzles too. But some of these areas aren't even getting seen by players because they're just not worth it to explore. Sure, there's treasure and loot there, but rarely is it actually rewarding. Players would frequently find themselves opening loot that was actually lower in level than what they already had. Now, these extra items, they don't really even serve much of a purpose.
To go back to like, for instance, like the wand. I kind of wish the wand would have had more of an implication on your abilities in the game. Like, what was it? You had Dragon, Phoenix, and Unicorn. I wish those had stats or something like that to where they affected your spell casting ability. Like, maybe if you had a wand with a dragon core, like your fire spells do maybe 2 times more damage or something like that. Maybe if you have like a Phoenix core with your one, maybe your defensive stats are a little bit better. Like, just something like that. I think that's something that could have been implemented as well. So maybe I would like to see something like that.
Sure, you could sell them in Hogsmeade and then even use the enchanted loom that's in the Room of Requirement to enhance certain abilities, but personally, I found the game didn't really present many scenarios where these upgrades were even needed. I expected to have areas of the game where I would really need to optimize and focus on certain pieces of gear that are going to best help me in that situation. So it'd be great if the sequel had more enemy variety where there was actually more strategy to some of this. And while I appreciate the numerous cosmetic options that were in the game, they really missed having a few standout items that you could only get in certain locations. Games like Dark Souls have mastered this, but they also have the benefit of letting the player wield a variety of weapons such as axes, swords, bows. Whereas in the Wizarding world, you're sort of kind of limited to just a wand. This is where Avalanche would really need to think outside the box to figure out ways to make the loot more rewarding overall. To be fair, the Wizarding world does have a few iconic items they could use, at least for inspiration. You have the Sword of Gryffindor, the Resurrection Stone, the Cloak of Invisibility, the Philosopher's Stone, and the Mirror of Erised, and of course, the Elder Wand. That being said, even cosmetics can be rewarding if handled properly. After all, they did have the Daedalian Keys questline, which was the path for unlocking the Relic House uniforms. Some of the best uniforms in the game. Maybe there's a special Gryffindor robe that improves the power of certain spells, or a Slytherin robe that makes you more stealth. You know, I'm still surprised that the first game did not lean more into the lore of the Founders, as it is largely unexplored territory. And for 4 of the most powerful witches and wizards in the whole series, it's almost certain that they each had numerous enchanted artifacts that they left behind. Now, in that video I made back all the way in October of 2020, there are a few requests we had then that did not make it into the final game, such as the ability for our character to become an animagus, multiplayer, and a dedicated house cup where you earn points. But by far the most glaring omission that did not make it into Hogwarts Legacy is without a doubt Quidditch, the iconic sport of the Wizarding world. So even though I don't personally think that we absolutely need a version of Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy 2, I'm going to put it on the list because I do read your comments, and this is one that comes up time and time again. So I'll say it for you guys, it would be nice if Hogwarts Legacy 2 had at least some form of Quidditch for the player to participate in. Did you guys know, though, that they're actually working on a completely standalone Quidditch game already? Yeah, it's called Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, and you can learn all about it in the video on the right side of your screen now. In fact, some people have even gotten to playtest the game, but they can't talk.
I want to let me see. How many people have been... Let's see. I mean, that's basically it for the video, so... I want to see how many people are playing that. Here it is. Ooh. So this game came out about almost 2 years ago. At the time of it coming out, over 6,000 people played. Currently, there's only 53 people playing right now. So I guess the game didn't really do as well as maybe they thought it would, but yeah. All right. So that is basically it, guys, for the video. Hogwarts Legacy 2. What are some stuff that you want to see? I liked a lot of the stuff in the video that we watched that I agree that could be implemented in. Even the stuff that we saw on the TikTok page with the one person creating their post. There's a lot of stuff they could add into it. So, and you definitely can expect to be a lot of people trying to boycott the game because of their disdain for J.K. Rowling and everything like that. But I would not be surprised if I don't know if it will do from a sales standpoint if it will do as well as the first game, because the first game was just like 15 million units sold within the first 3 months is really, 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 really impressive. So it could do that same kind of thing, but we'll have to just wait and see. But guys, that is relatively it. If you are new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.